Hello everyone and welcome back to the course. And today we're going to go into an exciting aspect of Power BI's Power Query Editor. And we're going to be looking at the advanced query editor and introducing ourselves to the M code. And we're going to be seeing how we can use our query transformations across different data sets. So we're not going to dive too deep into M code, but I'm going to attach a link to the M code's documentation to this video if you really want to look into it more extensively. But we're going to be trying to understand how M code works and knowing how to navigate again the advanced editor to basically enhance our data transformation capabilities. Now, let's explore applied steps for a bit. And I think we are quite far. On my screen, you can see we have the applied steps towards the right. And like I said in previous videos, the applied steps basically just tracks all the changes we've made to our query. So it's like a recorded list of all the transformations and actions that we've performed on our data in the Power Query Editor. For example, if we look at this prod table, for example, we've made some changes in previous videos. You can see all the changes are tracked here. Data comes from the source. We changed data type. We removed top rows. We promoted headers. We changed type again. We renamed some columns. We added a conditional column. Remember, we added this price range conditional column, and then we changed the type as well. So, like I said, the applied steps are a recorded list of all transformations that we've made on our data, and each step represents a specific action, right? Now, we have this for again for traceability, for editability, for reusability as well, right? But then I want to take us a bit more advanced, and if we select a particular query, I want to introduce us to something called the advanced editor. If we select a particular query and we're in our home tab, we would find something called the advanced editor here. And if we click on it, it opens up this piece of code, and this code is called an M code. The language is called M code, right? And what this does, basically, what is exactly what we have in the applied step. So basically, it's a more detailed. It gives more detail to what we have in the applied steps. You can see we have our source here as a first step in the applied step, and we can see our source here. Basically, we can see our source as a variable, and we can see all where our source was sourced from and all the different parameters that was taken into consideration just to bring our data from the source. For the change type, we can see the change type as well. We can see all the different parameters that happened at the back end just for us to change our type. We can see for all those steps, removed top rows, promoted headers, change type, etc. And what the encode does is that it allows us to perform complex transformations that are not available through our usual standard interface. For example, I could make some changes to this already made changes or to any step I want, just without having to actually go into the interface itself. I could make my changes from here. Another importance of this, I could, like I just said, modify multiple steps, make bulk changes. Another big importance of this is I could copy my changes. So for example, if I copy this M code, let's copy this M code here and close this for a bit. I could replicate, so basically allows me reuse my steps. So let's assume I had a new query. If I had a new source, let's create a new blank query. So there's nothing in this query. So it's a blank query. I could go to advanced editor, and remember I copied those steps from prod. I could just paste it here, and whatever change I've made in the prod, um, including my data source and everything, I could bring it to this new query and just click on done, and then I would have exactly what I have in prod in this new query. This is going to be particularly important when you have maybe similar data. So you have maybe 5 data sets that are of similar structure, and you've taken in one and you've performed lots of transformation on that one and you're satisfied, and you want to perform similar transformation on the other ones. All you have to do is just again go to advanced editor instead of repeating those steps again and having to do it on each and every one of that data set. You could just go to the advanced editor for the one you've cleaned and select all the steps. Go to whatever new place you want to make that change. Let's assume this is my second data source that is similar to the first. I'm just going to create a blank query again and just go to advanced editor there and paste. Right, once you paste, all the changes you've made to the first data set will be replicated in the second data set. But one thing you should notice, if you're doing that, your file, you have to ensure that you are referencing the right file. So for example, imagine if I had a site prod, you know what, let's not imagine, let's actually do it. So let's cancel. I'm going to discard this for now. Let's delete this. I'm going to delete this query as well. Delete. I'm going to bring in siteprod again and I'm going to call it siteprod2. So I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to bring in a new data source, text with CSV. I'm going to bring in our siteprod again. I know we have it here already, but I'm going to just bring it in. So just going to bring it in directly. You can see we have siteprod2. We have this siteprod, same file, right? But we already cleaned this. Now, assuming let's assume these were two different files, but they had similar structures, and I've cleaned this, and I want to apply the same transformations I made to siteprod to this new one. Instead of having to start doing all my transformations on this one, all I can do is just go here, right, and go to advanced editor, copy it, Ctrl+C, and click on done. Go to siteprod2, that's the second guy, and open advanced editor. I could right click and open advanced editor anyways. Right click advanced editor and basically just paste and click on OK. Now, if they were different files, the reason why I'm not changing anything is because they are referencing the same file on my computer. They are both the same file. If it was a different file, I would have to change the name to the name of my new file and then click on done. And you would see that automatically it's clean. I did not have to go through all these 6 steps manually. I just had to paste. So that's one of the benefits of actually using the advanced editor in Power BI. Let's do a little bit of M coding. I would like to just introduce us to M coding basically. So let's create a new query, just a blank query, just to understand how the M code works. So we'll go to new source and let's open a blank query. Now we have a blank query. There's nothing there. It's totally empty. It's called query 2. I'm going to delete this query 1. I was messing around a bit. Delete. So I was messing around a bit. So we're going to just go into the advanced editor here for this new query. I'm going to click on advanced editor and it's going to open. It's blank. So let's just delete this for now and leave it blank. Now, usually the advanced editor or the M code allows you. It starts with let. It usually starts with let, and what let means is you basically allowing you define variables and steps. So let's just say, okay, you know what, let's start defining variables, all the different variables in the M code and all the different steps in the M code. So let's create a new variable. Let's just call it variable 1 and say variable 1 is equal to, we all know what variables are. They are entities that hold certain values. So let's create a variable and say variable one equals to welcome, right? And we've created that variable one. Next thing we should know is in, and basically in specifies the output of your query. So this is a whole query. The output, what your query is gonna output, in specifies that. So if I say in, and then I want to output my variable one. So I can see that there are no syntax errors. If I click on done, you can see welcome is outputted here. That's just a simple code. But let's get more advanced. Let's click on advanced editor once more. And so we know what let does. Let basically is us telling the M code that we are ready to start entering variables and entering all our steps. Now, notice something on the applied steps. When we created variable one, our first step was var1, variable one on the applied steps. Now, let's add a new step, right? So let's do comma. So after every line, after every step that you've entered, you have to enter a comma. So let's do comma, let's do variable two, and say variable two is home, right? And we want to output, let's output variable two this time, not variable one. And do done. Now we can see it changes to home. So let's get a bit more into it. Advanced editor. Let's create a third variable that will be a combination of variable one and two. So we can say var3 will be equal to var1 and, so we use the ampersand symbol, and var2. This is just what I'm doing now is similar to your concatenate function. Click on done. Oops, we're still outputting variable 2, so that's why O is still here. Let's go back and output variable 3. Variable 3. And then click on done. And now we have welcome home here. But then it's a mess. It's joined together. So let's fix that. Edit variable advanced editor. Let's add a space. So I'm gonna just add a space and then and, right? So variable one and space and variable two, and we can just say done. So you can see we have space and it says welcome. Now I want to deliberately make a mistake just so you can see what happens when you do not take note of that. I'm going to remove this comma from line 3 and click on OK. Just click on done. It's already giving me, it's already telling me that I have an error. So you can see token comma expected. Just so when you're working, if you see an error like this, you know what the issue is. So we're going to advanced editor again, and I'll just fix that and put comma here. Now what happens if I put comma on the last line? Does it give me an error? So you see, if I put comma on the last line as well, I get an error that says comma cannot precede in. So let's go and fix that again. So there, remove that comma. Now I want you to take note of something, and it's always best to have your variable names as one word without spaces. But I want you to notice something. Let's click on done for now. We have our welcome home. We have our welcome home. Let's create a new step. We don't have a header, so we can't really do any step. But one thing I want us to note, okay, let's go somewhere. Let's go somewhere, and okay, let's do it here. If we go to advanced editor, and we actually create a fourth variable. So let's create a fourth variable and say variable, and I'm going to deliberately put a space. Variable 4 is equal to let's do text dot upper, and you'll find all these functions. There are a lot of functions you can do. It's just basically like SQL. Everything you can do in SQL. You find the functions in the documentation that I'll just show you how to find documentation. To find the documentation, all you have to do is just go to the Microsoft website or your Google search and search M code documentation, and you'll find all these functions there. We are not going to go deep into M code. So text.upper, and I want to just make my variable 3 in all uppercase. Now, I remember I'm purposely putting this space here. I know it's going to give me an error, but see, once your variable names have errors or have spaces, and you just leave them like that, it gives an error. So how do we fix that? So we're going to go to advanced editor once more, and we're going to make a little bit of change to it. So we're going to put this in quotes, and still we're not fine. We have to precede those quotes with an hash. I believe it's called hash. So now with this, everything is fine. We can have our variable for being having space because we've treated it by adding this hash sign or pound sign and enclosing our variable name in quotes. So we're going to output that. We're going to output the pound sign. I'm just going to copy this. We're going to output that, and we're going to say done. And you can see we have our text all in uppercase because that's what this particular function does. It puts our text in uppercase. So that's basically the advanced editor. We've seen how we can replicate steps in across queries using the advanced editor. So in the next section, we are going to be looking at modeling our data, and we are going into the most important part of Power BI now. We're going to be looking at how to model our data before we start doing visualizations. So stay tuned and see you in the next video.